So I love Amber Steel deck lists. I think Amber Steel is such a good and fun and versatile color combination. It has the singers, it has the removal. I don't know, it just has princesses in it and I have lots of enchanteds. That might be my kind of priority showing there. But let me tell you about Steel Song. So, what is Steel Song, or what type of deck is Steel Song? So, Steel Song is what is called a tempo deck, and what that means is that you are playing cards. You're playing cards each turn, and in theory, you're playing cards either at the same pace or quicker than your opponent. But you're using those cards to remove their threats or their things that they are doing in an attempt to push your own game forward. So that is what a tempo deck is that it keeps up the tempo and it keeps the pressure on. The way that Steel Song does this is through singers and songs. So the singers that you are playing in this deck can sing songs for greater than their cost, which means that you're getting a lot more value out of them than you would be if you were just paying for it with ink. You can play a lot more cards. That means a lot sooner because if your singers can sing songs for you, it means that your ink is free to do other things with, like play more singers. So let's look at the current deck list, or at least the current deck list that I'm working with, and we'll go over some of the strategies and the cards in Steel Song. So here's what I'm working with right now. You can see that it's got your four singers in it that seem to be in every list. It's got your little Cindy, your Ursula, your Ariel, and your Gaston. I look at this and think it's missing Naveen, but I'm not sure if that's because I love Naveen and think he's got a home in this list, or if it's because I have an enchanted Naveen and I really just want to play as many enchanteds as possible. I will get back to you on the answer. For that, I'm probably going to put the enchanteds in. But that being said, there's lots of other fun toys in this deck, like the four songs that are in every Amber Steel list, Rapunzel's, Piglets, Daisies. Those are all pretty awesome cards in this list. Along with Pete's, we're going to go into all of those cards and the spots or why you would have them in this deck and why you would play them. We're going to start with the first half, or the second half of the name of the deck, which is the songs part. But I guess it's the singers we're starting with, because I guess the steel is the songs. So here are the four singers, like I said, that we are playing. We're playing four Cindy's, four Ariels, four Gastons, and only three Ursulas. So this is kind of the package that you're working with here. Great first turn play is Cindy, as she can sing you those songs. Great second turn play is Ursula, because again, she can sing you more songs. And then Ariel or Gaston can reset your hand with a whole new world. And you can see that it is a nice pattern here, as you get your 1, 2, and 3 drop options here for singers. So the second part of Steel Song is obviously the Steel Song part, I guess. So you get your four songs here to match your four singers. So you get your strength, let the storm rage on, and strength of a raging fire to get rid of either small things early game, or if you have gone wide and have a whole bunch of characters on the board, to get rid of your big things late game. Then Along Came Zeus is a great song to hit a lot of characters that have 5 willpower. Ones that come to mind right now are like Sisu and Maleficent and Maui. Gets rid of those nice and cleanly. Also hits locations. If that is a problem that you're having there, don't forget it hits locations. I often do. And then A Whole New World helps you keep everything going by resetting your hand and letting it unload again next turn. So let's go over, I guess, what are we doing now? We're going to do what ideal kind of turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 play look like. I only really plan out in my head up to turn 3, because after turn 3, there's so much more stuff that is options that are out there and things that you should consider, like what is your opponent playing, what have they done. But turn 1, 2, and 3, especially on a mulligan, are easy enough to kind of map out in your head about what you want to do. So turn 1 options. Now there is a Daisy as well, but the turn 1 options that I see in my head are Little Cindy. That would be the ideal one. Little Cindy is a good one because she gets to sing you your early songs. Robin, I would play if I have the big Robin in my hand, because on turn 3, playing a big Robin is a really tough thing to stop, especially if you could Whole New World with it, or start taking down some of your opponent's threats there. Don't have her on the screen, but your other one is Daisy. Daisy is great against the blue-red Sisu list because they're not doing a huge amount early enough game, and so you might be able to get a decent amount of lore out of her before she's removed. Since the Sisu lists do play a lot of actions and items, it also means that you are less likely to be giving your opponents cards than you would be with other decks. So that's turn one. What do we do in turn two? Well, ideally, if we got that Cindy out, we're going to be singing Let the Storm Rage On to get rid of whatever your opponent played. The reason I have Let the Storm Rage On here as opposed to Strength of Raging Fire is Let the Storm Rage On replaces itself because it gets to draw you a card. What I'd be playing turn two, now again, there are options like Shmi and Piglet, but as this is a singer's deck, and the idea here is to be going as wide as possible, is Ursula. With a 4 willpower, she is very tough to remove, especially on like turn 2 or 3 for your opponent. And she can sing you things like she can sing the song Let the Storm Rage On or Strength of Raging Fire, but she can also sing And Then Along Came Zeus, and that on turn 3 should deal with anything that you want. Speaking of which, I think I have that coming up here right now. And then along came Zeus. So, turn 3. You could, and then along came Zeus, anything that your opponent's got out there by turn 3. I will say simply having the Ursula out makes your opponent think, okay, they could be Zeusing anything coming up. The next thing that you'd want to be playing, would want to be playing, is either Ariel or Gaston. The reason you got your 2 options, and there's purposes for both of them. They both are Singer 5. Gaston has a 3 strength, which means he can't be brawled, or at least not without an ice block out there. And he can't be hit by Big Sisu. So he survives those problematic cards. And he can also sing you A Whole New World. Ariel, you'd be wanting to play if you don't have any cards in your hand, or if you don't have any songs in your hand, because she finds you that song. In theory, at least, she finds you that song. She never finds me songs, but she could possibly find you songs that you could the next turn. Hopefully, play A Whole New World because you're probably close to empty-handed at this point in time. Resets your hand, gets rid of whatever your opponent was holding onto. And if I'm thinking ideally they've been holding on to Shark Maui's and Be Prepared, and you get rid of all that nice stuff, and you get to start with a nice fresh start. Now, another reason why you might want A Whole New World early is because if your opponent has mulliganed and they have mulliganed very few cards, or potentially a lot of cards, they could be sculpting or holding on to a really good hand that they have specifically with what you have in mind or a game plan in mind, and A Whole New World early game completely disrupts that. So what are some of the other cards that we have? So I've already kind of talked about Daisy. There's Piglet that quests for a lot of lore, but here's kind of my other all-stars of the deck. So Rapunzel is awesome because she comes in and she heals something and then draws you the cards equal to what you healed. So pair her with somebody like Lawrence or Shmi. Shmi's taking damage anyways, but Lawrence can take that 3 hull damage and still survive, so you can throw him into something, heal him up with Rapunzel, draw 3 cards. Card draw is really important because it keeps your whole thing going. Pete is great against a lot of decks. Not great against aggro, but he's great against a lot of decks because of the actions. So he completely shuts down Maui Shark. It feels great to drop him out there and have Maui Shark just sit there uselessly. He also stops things like Be Prepared and Brawl, so he kind of saves your board a little bit more. But kind of importantly here too, he is also great against Steel Song because you want to be playing songs. So would your opponent if they're on Steel Song. Robin Hood, sweet, awesome card. He gains you lore by taking things out, and he draws you a card if he dies in a challenge. So Robin is an all-star card for keeping, and with like a 6 willpower, he's tough to get rid of. So he can help keep your opponent's board down and be gaining lore at the same time. Lawrence, I kind of already went over already. He can't be brawled if he's at full strength. He gains you lore, 2 lore. He can be healed with Rapunzel. And he's kind of a good fighter too to take out your opponent's stuff. So that is the basics of Steel Song. I absolutely love the deck. I think it is a fantastic deck. And it's like my favorite deck. So I want everybody to love Steel Song. Pick up the list, give it a try. It's an awesome deck, and I didn't really plan a great outro, so I'm just going to end it there and say will be back later with another Amber Steel list, which will probably either be Diggy Diggy Hole, so the Dwarf Mine one, or the super fun Stitch Combo one. We'll see you later.